What is good, YouTube, and welcome back to a brand new video. What a crazy last 24 hours that has been for the association. We had a lot of high-scoring games the other night with Karl Towns, Joel Embiid. Adrian Griffin has been fired after a really good start to the season, but the Bucks do not like what they've seen apparently. And of course, Rozier was traded to the Miami Heat. We did that video yesterday, Rozier Miami Heat rebuild. Today, we're going to talk about the Hornets side of things. Originally, I wasn't planning on doing a Hornets side of things, but Woj revealed their plans going forward up until the deadline, what they plan on doing. They now have Gordon Hayward's expiring contract. They now have Kyle Lowry's expiring contract, which are some huge expiring contracts. And as we know, the new CBA is going to require a lot of teams to get off some money. That, of course, is where the Hornets strike, similar to what the Thunder have done so far to get to where they are. The Hornets look like that's what they're going to do as well. So let's jump in. Let's do the other side of the trade. We're going to be doing a post-Rozier trade Charlotte Hornets rebuild. Before we get into today's video, make sure you guys drop a like on this one and subscribe if you are new to this channel. As always, greatly appreciated. Of course, we're doing a bunch of videos on the trade deadline right now. Trade rumors, everything that's happening around the trade deadline. We're doing a ton of videos on them. We've done Siakam, we've done OG, we've done Rozier now, and here we are on the other side of the Rozier trade, that being the Charlotte Hornets, who have now Kyle Lowry's expiring contract, and they also have Gordon Hayward's expiring contract. They also have Miles Bridges, who they can move at the deadline. It sounds like they're going to. So the Hornets are going to be an interesting team to watch at the deadline for sure, which is why I think this video is going to be a ton of fun today. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and just skip right to the deadline. Let's get straight into the business, right? Let's get to it. So we're going to start to the deadline. We're going to throw Kyle Lowry and Gordon Hayward's salaries in the trade finder first and see if we can cook something up using their contracts. Of course, trying to make a salary dump trade in 2K is not going to be the easiest thing in the world because 2K doesn't see it as that. Obviously, the value is the stars in 2K, and obviously Lowry and Gordon Hayward's value isn't going to be that good, but we'll figure it out. So I'll see you guys at the deadline where we start striking some business. Today's video is brought to you by Prize Picks. Prize Picks is a player props app that's available on mobile or desktop. The way Prize Picks works is you choose between 2 to 6 players, 2 players being 3 times your entry, all the way up to 6 players being 25 times your entry. Of course, they have all kinds of sports outside of just NBA. They also have all kinds of stats to choose from as well. So let's go ahead and try to cook something up here. So if Daniel Gafford, if we think he's scoring over 9.5 points tonight, click more on the projection. If you think Rudy Gobert is going over 14.5, click more on the projection. It's that easy. It gives you an extra sweat while you watch whatever sport that you want. Like I said, not only do they have NBA, they have hockey, they have soccer, they have college basketball, they got CSGO, Call of Duty. They got all kinds of options on here. Make sure to sign on Prize Picks. Use code Crushables to match first deposit dollar for dollar up to $100. And another app that's very similar to Prize Picks that I posted about yesterday in my community tab, and I mentioned it in yesterday's video. It's called Dabble. Right now, the reason why I am telling you to go download Dabble because they're giving people a free $25 just for signing up. No deposit needed, no credit card information needed, nothing like that. Use code Crushables and they give you a free $25 just for signing up. Now, someone mentioned yesterday that the $25 didn't show up, but I believe your account has to be reviewed and then it will show up. So use code Crushables. Go take advantage of a free $25. Like I said, no deposit needed. Dabble is a really cool app as well. You can tell people's plays with a click of a button. You don't even have to really do anything. I've had a lot of success on Dabble as well. So if you want to go sign up for Dabble, definitely go check it out in the App Store. Really cool app. And the way I use Prize Picks and Dabble is DJF's optimizer and correlation tool. So basically how the optimizer works, it compares discrepancies across multiple sports books. So Christian McCaffrey, for instance, which obviously one of the best running backs in the NFL. Right now, Prize Picks has his fantasy score listed at 23, while all the other apps have it at like 22, 20. As you can see, there's a lot of discrepancies here. So you could take the under on Prize Picks and take advantage of that discrepancy. And then the other tool that I really love is DJF's correlation tool. It is up 856.7 units since August 18th. If you've been, pretty much playing every slip volume here, it is a really good tool to use. So if you want to check out any of these tools or check out Prize Picks, both links in the description. Like I said, also go download Dabble. That is in the App Store. I don't have a link, but just look up Dabble on the App Store. Use code Crushables when you sign up. A free $25 hits your account. Let's get back to the rebuild. So we're going to go ahead and start this deadline off with a Miles Bridges trade, and I'm just simply looking to get a first round pick for him. You could maybe convince me that 2 firsts could be in order just because he's having a really solid season, but he is on an expiring contract. And I believe there is the unknown whether or not he would resign somewhere. So I could see where just 1 first is in order. So the Celtics offered me Al Horford a first round pick. I don't hate that. But let's keep looking. Derek Lively, I don't see obviously the Mavericks doing that. Thunder offered me a top 10 protected Jazz pick. we get Trey Mann, which actually isn't a bad player to get in return. So it's actually a really solid trade as well. We might do that one. So we're actually going to go ahead and do this trade with the Thunder. It's a top 10 Jazz pick. The Jazz right now might make the playoffs, but more than likely won't. But Trey Mann, we're going to go ahead and take that trade. So Miles Bridges is headed to Oklahoma City Thunder. Will the Thunder trade for Miles Bridges in real life? Maybe, maybe not. I actually don't think they will, but he'll probably be traded at the deadline, more likely than not. Next two, obviously, are going to be Gordon Hayward and also Kyle Lowry. Now, will the Hornets move PJ Washington? Potentially, I could see that as well, but we're going to focus on the two expiring salaries. Like I said, doing a salary dump in 2K, not going to be the easiest thing to do, but we're going to do our very best. So let's start with Gordon Hayward and see if there's a bad contract that we can take on, and maybe a team offers us a first as well. But, you know, I'm only dreaming here. We'll see if we can make that work. So honestly, when it comes to bad contracts, teams that or players that I think of are like Ben Simmons, John Collins, DeAndre Ayton, Jordan Poole. Like, those are some bad contracts. So those are the guys I'm kind of targeting. But of course, in order to take those salaries on, I want some picks. That's what we want. If you're the Charlotte Hornets, that's what you want for taking these salaries on. Now, I don't know if I can convince the Nets to give me a first-round pick. I highly doubt it, but we'll try our best here. And the Nets don't even really have a bunch of picks to offer anyway. So let's see if we can get this one in 2028 for taking on Ben Simmons. I highly doubt it. They want a second-round pick, but we're getting a first-round pick for Gordon Hayward, and that's what we wanted. So we're going to go ahead and do this. Now, do the Nets want to get off Ben Simmons? I have no clue, but that does not matter today. We're going to go ahead and do this trade, and we get a first-round pick for Gordon Hayward. We do trade a second, but getting a first-round pick feels great. So that is done. And Ben Simmons' contract, we can use that to keep. We can keep him around if we wanted to as a role player next to LaMelo Ball, or we can go ahead and move him in the future. And maybe Charlotte can unlock what he used to be, which is probably long gone now, but, you know, it's still there potentially. We'll see. Next, though, is Kyle Lowry. So let's see what we can get for him. To me, this one is perfect. I think John Collins is the next guy that could be salary dumped. It sounds like the Jazz already want to get rid of him, which is kind of funny because they just obviously got him. But we're going to try to obviously keep this pick out of the talk. So let's just see. And again, John Collins' trade value is a lot better than Kyle Lowry. So more than likely, this trade is not going to go through, but we'll try to make something work. So I can see a world where they give up the Timberwolves pick because Timberwolves are actually really good in real life. So let's see what they say to that. They want a top 10 protected. Yeah, I understand. You want, you know, and you want to be incentivized. I get it. I totally understand that. But we're going to try to do our best to, we're not going to be able to throw a player in here, are we? Can we just throw a second? Like, would a second start to get this talk going? A 2026 top 3 protected? Honestly, you guys may hate me for this, but I potentially might just override this because I could see a world where the Hornets, or not the Hornets, the Jazz literally just want to get off John Collins' contract. And they're just giving up the T-Wolves pick. Like, the T-Wolves pick isn't even that valuable. I'll go 3 seconds. I'll try to do this without overriding it, but might have to. So, but, you know, someone's going to get mad in the comment section, I know. But this is a trade that I could actually see happening. Kyle Lowry for John Collins. The Jazz give up the Timberwolves pick. Done deal. Not a big deal. You know, the salary dump, we get a first-round pick for it. I think that's a trade that could definitely happen because John Collins has like 3 years left in his deal. And he's still a decent player that maybe he could be something here as well. So I don't think it's the worst trade in the world either. We're going to go ahead and make this trade happen. I can see it happening. And I hope you guys can see it happening too. But, you know, if someone's mad, I apologize. But we're doing this trade here. So after this, I will see you guys at the end of year 1. So look, as an elite season at the end of year 1, no surprise there. Wars are pretty much always the same here, so we're just going to go ahead and skim through those. Does LaMelo Ball make an All-NBA team? Not this year, but we'll probably get him there eventually. We are a very bad team, which is what we obviously wanted to be. We, you know, had no intentions of being very good. We're actually the bottom of the East, which is perfect because obviously we'd love to be in the lottery. So yeah, and then Minnesota makes playoffs, which is why the Jazz don't lose much value by giving up, you know, that first-round pick. And we take it, and we get a late pick in the first round. So feeling pretty good about what we accomplished at the deadline. So let's go ahead and see what else happens. Timberwolves make it all the way to the conference or to the NBA Finals, but they do lose to the 76ers. Maxey is your Finals MVP and not Joel Embiid. Interesting. So Al Horford does retire. We also have draft lottery time as well. So let's go ahead and see what this is about to look like. So we are projected pick number 2. Obviously, it does have some protections. So we it says it's going to the Spurs, but obviously it's not going to. And then Utah's pick actually falls into the top 10 most likely. So we're not getting that pick, which sucks, but it might be unprotected next year. So that's good. So let's see what happens. We are going to drop to 5. Damn, that sucks. We drop all the way to 5. And then at number and then the Jazz pick is top 10. Almost actually fell out. And then we also get, or is the Timberwolves pick next year? Or I thought we got the Timberwolves pick this year. Interesting. Or what did I get? I swore I got that pick from 5, or it's 2025. Okay, I guess that's even, I don't know why I was thinking that was a 2024 pick. Okay, we get the 5th overall pick. 5th overall pick, still pretty decent, but obviously it sucks to have fallen that far. I don't like Steve Clifford as the head coach. Is there an actual real candidate here? No, the good candidates are next year, so we'll probably keep Steve Clifford for 1 more year just to tank. That way we can get an actual good candidate next year. But I felt this coaching staff, and then I will see you guys on draft night with who we take at pick number 2. I meant pick number 5, not pick number 2. Sorry. But we have that Timberwolves pick next year and that Jazz pick next year. So that actually feels really good. And we should have our own pick as well. I believe there's some protections on it. I'll have to double check what those protections are. But let's see what we can get at pick 5. So Alex goes 1. Nikola Toppin goes 2, which would have been our top pick. Would have been my dream draft pick here. Stefan goes 3. Collar goes 4. So we can go ahead and take Ron Holland, Justin Edwards, Montez Buzelis, Proctor, Daymara, Donovan Kling, and Isaiah. A lot of good options here, but I do think in this scenario, we could take Justin Edwards or Ron Holland. Which one do we want to take is the question. I think we take Ron Holland out of Charlotte, although I feel like Justin Edwards also wouldn't be too bad either. Ron Holland, Brandon Miller, LaMelo Ball definitely moves me a little bit. Buzelis isn't also a bad option. Really can't go wrong with any of these 3, I feel like. So who do we want is the question. Actually, low-key might take Buzelis because 6'11", really versatile where we could play him. I'm going to take Montez Buzelis here at pick number 5. So we're going to take him, bring him to Charlotte, and we'll feel good about that. So he ends up being a 76 overall. Feel good about that pick. Player options, Mark Williams, JT Thor will accept qualifying offers. Amari Bailey is a free agent, which we can extend the offer to. And then free agency, we have nobody who's important that's in free agency. We do have the ability to sign an MLE if we want. But we have LaMelo Ball, Ben Simmons, Trey Mann. We feel really good about what we got in return from Miles Bridges from getting Trey Mann. But we can actually move Ben Simmons around to... We move him to the 3 or we can move him to the 4. So I am actually going to go ahead and move him to power forward for now. So LaMelo Ball, Trey Mann. We don't have a 2. So Nick Smith Jr., James Bouknight, Brandon Miller, Montez Buzelis, Cody Martin. And then we have Ben Simmons, PJ Washington, Mark Williams, John Collins, Nick Richards. So yeah, we pretty much have a solid front court set in stone for now. As far as our, we have Buzelis who can back up Brandon Miller. We do need a better backup or better shooting guard for sure. So we could move Ben Simmons in order to accomplish that if that's what we want to do, because we can move John Collins to the 4 if we want, or keep him at the 5. So a lot of options we could go here with. Shooting guards, we could sign like Lonnie Walker in free agency. Gary Trent Jr. also could make some sense. Or we could, like I said, just straight up try to trade for that 2 guard if we want to. Like Zach LaVine might still be available. If Charlotte was looking to maybe be good next year, I could see LaVine maybe making sense next to LaMelo. But I wouldn't hate that idea. I'll just throw that out there. Vassell, Anthony Edwards, of course, off the table. Anthony Simons. What other 2 guards? So LaVine immediately comes to mind as far as a guard that I could see being on the market. So let's see if there's anybody else that makes sense here. Next to LaMelo Ball. Derek White, Desmond Bain, our hero, of course, always comes to mind, but I don't feel like Miami's moving him, especially after getting Rozier. Jalen Green, Austin Reeves, Rozier, Sexton, Cole Anthony. All right, Malik Monk, Bogdan. There is some interesting options here. I don't hate the idea of trading for Zach LaVine if it doesn't cost me a ton. We use Ben Simmons' contract in order to accomplish it. Let's do it, man. Let's try this. Let's see if we can make it happen. If it doesn't happen, I'm not even that, concerned about it. But this could be our way of trying to make things work around LaMelo. We get LaVine for a couple years and see if, that makes some things happen. I'm going to throw in, let's say, Nick Smith Jr. in order to make this happen. And then I will throw in the Timberwolves pick. And then let's also throw in a future Wizards pick. So something like this. I don't know what Zach LaVine's trade value is going to be exactly. But I think this is decent value for the Chicago Bulls. Let's see what they say. They agree. So get LaVine. So LaVine is going to be our brand new 2 guard going forward, which is pretty cool. So we kind of accelerated the timeline a little bit. But now we can move John Collins to the 4. And we'll have him play backup power forward, at least for now. And then he actually might start over PJ Washington, which he probably will. So yeah. And then Buzelis will be backup 3 still. And then we could sign a backup shooting guard and we should be golden. So I'm going to go ahead and sign Gary Trent Jr., I think, to a deal. 25 years old off the bench. Not too shabby. Not a bad offseason. Actually liked it a lot. I'm really hoping we're actually decent next year. That is kind of the goal in mind. And then that Jazz pick hopefully will become something for us. Brandon Miller's up to an 83. Mark Williams up to an 83. And then John Collins 81. Trey Mann 78. Gary Trent 78. So not too shabby. Feeling pretty solid about how that offseason went. I would love to see if we could be a play-in team, but I think with trading for Levine, you are at least showing LaMelo you're trying to do things, because I'm not saying LaMelo is the most patient man or most impatient guy in the world, but obviously they've been in the play-in twice and have disappointed. I think they've been in the play-in twice, LaMelo, I believe, but this could be a third time if we get there. But you got to show something, right, that you want to, keep building a winning culture around LaMelo. So I think Levine helps us with that, at least this year. It just gives us a bridge to our destination. So Levine, LaMelo, Brandon Miller, John Collins, Mark Williams, Gary Trent, Nick Richards, PJ Washington, and Trey Mann. Not a bad rotation by any means. And since Buzelis is actually out of the rotation, we can actually just send him to the G League. So that doesn't feel too bad to do. We can do the same thing with JT Thor, and that will be our rotation. So I'll see you guys at the end of year 2. No plans to stop at the deadline. I actually like this team a lot. I actually could see a world where we make the play-in. So I will see you guys with hopefully a play-in berth, maybe a playoff spot. We'll see what happens. So at the end of this season, we just barely missed being in the play-in, which really sucks. LaMelo makes an All-NBA second team. But yeah, we were right on the cusp of making the play-in, but unfortunately, we don't get in. Take a look at the player stats. Here's what it looked like. So you had 24 from LaMelo, 19 from Levine, 16 from Brandon Miller, 12 from Gary Trent, 11 and 9 from Mark Williams, 9 from Washington, and 9 from John Collins. So really disappointing not to be in, but what we can do this offseason is fire Steve Clifford and get a real head coach, or a better head coach anyway. And the Jazz made it all the way to the conference finals, so that pick is going to be late. Cavaliers do end up winning the championship. And the beautiful part about all this is our pick is lottery protected again. 2K is not going to show that, but it is protected. Lottery, I just looked it up and researched it. So it is projected pick number 8. So hopefully it jumps up because we get it. If we could get Cooper Flag to this equation, obviously we'd love that. And we jump up to 1. Are you serious right now? No freaking way. My luck is insane. We will take it. We get number 1. Obviously it shows the Spurs via Charlotte, but that pick is top 14 protected in 2025. Go research it yourself if you don't believe me. So here we go. Number 1 overall. Absolutely beautiful. We get to add Cooper Flag to this equation. Yeah, and you can go, by the way, as well. Thank you, Steve Clifford, for your services. But now we get to hire a real head coach. So we can go Jack Vaughn, Mark Daigneault, Mosley, Frank Vogel, Chauncey Billups. No, thank you to that. Taylor Jenkins, Will Hardy. I always get Will Hardy. We can also go Joe Mazzulla, who has really good ratings. But we also don't have like a ton of money to offer. So I'm going to go for Will Hardy again, just because we got to have a backup plan just in case we don't get who we want. And then I'm also going to go ahead and offer on Taylor Jenkins. Taylor Jenkins is always pretty solid as well. Did I pass him? I might have. Taylor Jenkins, where are you? There he is. Okay, we're gonna offer on him as well. So do we get any of them? We get Will Hardy. Jenkins, we get sign Taylor Jenkins. I'm gonna sign Taylor Jenkins just because I get Will Hardy all the time. So I don't know if the Grizzlies would fire Taylor Jenkins after this season they're having. It's not necessarily his fault, but maybe they still fire him. I don't know. But we are going to go ahead and go get our draft pick from the Spurs, and then I will see you guys with who we take at number 1 overall. And you guys already know who we're going to take. So at pick number 1 overall, we are going to be taking Cooper Flag. Welcome to Charlotte, my friend. We have that late Jazz pick as well in this draft. I will go ahead and take Asa with that one, and that will be our draft. So just like that, Cooper Flag, welcome to Charlotte. We get Asa Noel and Cooper Flag. We should already be a playoff team next year. We have John Collins actually expiring salary. So that's another way of potentially getting another good player here if we wanted to use this contract. James Bouknight, Trey Mann. I do want to re-sign Trey Mann. What did he do for us last year, by the way? He averaged 8 points per game. I still want to bring him back if possible. I did not mean to extend the qualifying offer on James Bouknight, but it's all good. All right, so Trey Mann, let's just go ahead and get that out of the way. I do want to keep him around. So Trey Mann will sign to a nice 3-year extension to keep him around. And then the other guys can all go. I don't think I'm bringing any of them back. So they're gone. And then we don't have a lot to do in free agency. The rest of our movements coming through the trade, So Levine's contract, he's got another year after this one, but we can use him. I don't plan on keeping him probably past next year. Now we have Montes Buzelis, Cooper Flag, Brandon Miller. We definitely have a lot to figure out here, what we're going to do. John Collins, PJ Washington. So I think we got to move John Collins. I just think he simply has to go, just because we're going to have to obviously start Cooper Flag and Brandon Miller together, and then Montes Buzelis. I mean, in theory, we could technically eventually get to a lineup where Buzelis is playing the 2 guard, and man, we'll have a big lineup. I actually like that a lot. So Brandon Miller will be our starting 3, Flag will be our starting 4, Mark Williams will be our starting 5. So yeah, we'll eventually get to that. So what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to trade John Collins out. So let's see if we can get anything of value. I would dump him for a second. Like if someone's willing to give me a 2nd round pick for him, Norman Powell and a 1st round pick, I don't really want Norm back. Bogdan. Get Bogdan back in the trade. He would be... We have Gary Trent already, so... the Magic. You know what, Orlando? I'll do you a favor. You can just take John Collins for a second-round pick. That's all you got to do. So John Collins is headed to Orlando, and now we have freed up some minutes, which we needed to do desperately. All right, so now that moves either Buzelis or Flag to the 4. Flag does go down. Brandon Miller, I think, would go down too. He goes down like crazy. I believe Buzelis is going to go down. Buzelis goes down. Okay, we're going to move Buzelis to the 4 for now. But I'm feeling pretty solid about this. So now it'll be LaMelo Ball, Zach LaVine, Brandon Miller, Cooper Flag, PJ Washington, Monte Buzelis, and then Rich. Actually, I don't know if I can have Cooper Flag coming off the bench, though. He does go down, but I'm moving to the 4 for now. It sucks to see him go down that much, but we're going to move him to the 4 for at least now. And Buzelis is going to still be our backup small forward. So that's what we'll do, at least for this moment. So that's what we'll roll with, at least for next year, because I do want to start Cooper Flag right away. All right, let's look at player progression. So LaVine, he's really not even necessary anymore, so we could probably trade him out because our lineup is really coming together for sure. Brandon Miller is up to 87, Mark Williams 84, and then LaVine can be gone. And then Cooper Flag, Monte Buzelis, Brandon Miller. So that is the starting 5 I'm eventually looking to get on the floor together. Buzelis, Cooper Flag, Brandon Miller, Mark Williams, and LaMelo. That is beautiful. That is a beautiful lineup. I absolutely love it. So kind of regret trading for LaVine now, but it's all good. We can flip him for value potentially at the deadline if we feel the need to do, though. Or we can keep him, which he's still a solid player. It's not like he's the worst player in the world by any means, but it'd feel good to not have him right now. I'll say that because just what we could do with our lineup right now is not bad. But also, there is the route where we could be patient and he could start and bridge the gap still. So proficiency 3.5. Balance, can we be 4-star somewhere? We cannot, so I'll leave it at 3.5. Rotationally, it'll be LaMelo, Brandon Miller, Zach LaVine, Cooper Flag, Mark Williams, Buzelis, Gary Trent, Nick Richards, PJ Washington, and Trey Mann. We're gonna roll a 10-man rotation out. We're gonna still make this season. I'm hoping this team makes the playoffs. We'll see what happens though. So Cooper Flag comes in and immediately wins Rookie of the Year, and the season went absolutely beautiful. It actually went really good. We're in literally a top seed in the East, which is not something I plan on happening this quickly, but we'll take it. We get Buzelis and LaMelo or Cooper Flag making all rookie team. Second seed in the East. Here are your player stats. Yeah, I did not expect to be this good right away, but obviously when you get Cooper Flag out of the draft, to get LaVine, you luck into some good, you luck into a good record. So we are going to shrink this down to a 9-man rotation for the playoffs, though, just because obviously I don't want to, play 10 people in the playoffs. That does leave, I believe, Trey Mann, or at least PJ Washington out of it, which we did extend PJ Washington and Nick Richards. Our lineup is pretty much set. If we move LaVine, which we might even win a championship here, and none of this really matters, but we'll see what happens first. We get Brooklyn in round 1, so we do play Brogdon, Suggs, Cameron Johnson, LeBron. Very interesting. Bol, Mikal Bridges, and Dorian Finney-Smith. Somebody current round against the Brooklyn Nets, and we are going to lose to them. So we do lose to LeBron and the Nets, which sucks. But I'm not too concerned about it because the Thunder Raptors, the Thunder are going to go and win the championship. This team is only going to get better. LeBron James retires now, so he's fully gone. I'm kind of hoping LaVine feels the need to decline his player option. I feel like he's probably going to accept it, though. But if we do luck into the idea that he declines it, I would be a happy man just because I don't want to have to keep him around anymore. So let's go ahead and get a wing whisper, and then let's see what LaVine is thinking. Now, I do need to see if we have a draft pick. I wasn't really paying attention to the lottery, and we have 28th pick. So we'll let assistant GM take whoever they want there. That'll be Damian Collins, welcome. And then LaVine accepts. Damn, I was kind of hoping to decline it. But $50 million makes sense for him to not leave that on the table. Brandon Miller, LaVine, and Montes Buzelis. Qualifying offers, Bryce McGowan and Mark Williams. 2 guys I do want to obviously keep. Since we are, our Mark Williams for sure we're keeping, but since we are going to have to pay Mark Williams, that definitely makes me want to get off of LaVine's contract for sure. So that is what we're going to try to do. So LaVine, thank you for your services, but I think we're ready to move into our full youth movement. So if I have to attach like Damian Collins and a second or a pick, I'm fine with doing that. Let's say we included our 2027 pick in this just because we're so confident we're going to be good. Which I don't know if there's gonna be a team that could just take on LaVine, by the way. That might not be a thing. So, or we could have LaVine come off the bench. Like, we could just have him come off the bench, which might be something we do as well. But let's see if we just traded him straight up and see if there is any team out there. So we get Bane, we get Justin Edwards, so we can get a young player to the Kings. I actually see a world where the Kings getting Levine could make sense for them in their timeline. Tim Hardaway, same thing with the Mavericks. We get Grant Williams and Hardaway. So yeah, there actually is some good options on the table. Kispert and Poole. I think we're going to do this trade with the Kings. They get Levine, who would fit their timeline with Sabonis and Fox. Get Justin Edwards out of it as well. And yeah, I think that's a decent trade. We'll do that. So we'll be very happy with that. So now we have Lonzo or LaMelo, Trey Man. We have no shooting guard at the moment, but that'll be fixed in a second. Justin Edwards could be our brand new backup 3. Cooper Flagg, PJ Washington at the 4, and Nick Richards and Mark Williams at the 5. So I think out of all these, we move Brandon Miller to the 2. He's going to go down, but I think it makes sense to move him to the 2. That way we have Buzelis going up, and we also have Cooper Flagg going up. Actually, if we could do this as well, because Cooper Flagg is going to go up to an 81. Buzelis, I think, goes down 1. He goes down like 3, man. Dang, never mind. We'll leave it the way it was. Okay. We'll leave that the way it was. LaMelo Ball, Trey Man, Brandon Miller, Buzelis Edwards, Cooper Flagg, Washington. So all we really need, we don't need anything. We're actually ready to go. So let's go straight to player progression. And let's crush next year. I actually feel really confident in what this team is about to be able to do next year. Levine is gone and unlocks the full potential of the young guys that we have. We have 93, 88, 85, 83, 82, 80, 79, 77. Absolutely beautiful. Let's get into next season, and let's go see if we can be the first seed in the Eastern Conference. So as you can see, this season went very well. 60-22. Coach of the year goes to Taylor Jenkins. I was hoping to see LaMelo Ball win MVP, but he does make All-NBA third team, so we'll take that. Offensive first team and all-offensive second team. Here's our all-rookie first team and all-rookie second team. So we ended up as the first seed in the East, which is great, but obviously we have bigger aspirations. We want to go win a championship. So 23 from LaMelo, 20 from Brandon Miller, 17 from Cooper Flagg, 14 from Justin Edwards, 13 from Montez Buzelis, 11 from Mark Williams and a block, and then 10 from Trey Man. So here we go. Chicago in round 1. They no longer have DeMar or, of course, Zach LaVine, but now they have like Kobe White, Suggs, Ace Bailey, Kuminga, DeMar, Alonzo. So they've, it's kind of thrown together a nice little young team, and they still have Nick Smith Jr., who they got from us as well. Somebody current round against Chicago, and we are going to beat them in 6. They gave me a little bit of nerves there, but I'll get Brooklyn again. So obviously Brooklyn beat us last year, but they had LeBron James. Now they have Luka, of course, and they have Jamal Murray and Jaden Ivey. Okay. Brooklyn has, and Mikal still there. They have thrown together an interesting team. They still have Brogdon as well. I don't think this is a slam dunk that we win this series. This is definitely going to be a tough one. Luka Doncic in Brooklyn, not something I foresaw happening, but let's see if we can beat them. And we almost blew a 3-0 lead, but we do beat them. So at the end of the day, we won. I guess that's what matters. We're in the East Conference Finals. Atlanta Hawks, they have Brunson and Murray, so no longer Trey Young. They have De'Aaron Fox as well. What is up with some of these teams? They're just so funky that some of these teams have signed. So Fox signs a 1-year deal to Atlanta. Jalen Brunson signs a massive deal. Obviously, Murray's locked up. Okay, very interesting team for sure. So many current round against them. We're up 2-1. 3-1, and we are in the NBA Finals, maybe? Nope, going to Game 7. All right, Game 7. We have more minutes LaMelo Ball. Couldn't agree more. 41 minutes for this Game 7 in Charlotte. Let's take care of business. Come on. Remember the State Farm commercial when they would talk about, let's talk about the Hawks and the Hornets. Kevin Love's the young kid. We're going out in this one, so we are going to lose to Atlanta. Such a funky squad, but they get it done. Fox as a 6-man. Thunder beat them in 6. All right, it's fine, because you know what we have? We have youth on our side, which is obviously something that's great. So we are projected a lottery pick. I saw that, and it does end up being Miami's pick at 14. But that pick is actually lottery protected. So we actually had to send that back, and that becomes unprotected in 2028. So let's give this back to the Miami Heat. Hopefully I can do this without overriding, and let's see what they say. They want a okay. We're obviously gonna have to override that. Honestly, it may not matter because we're actually gonna probably just do 1 more year anyway. So we're gonna do 1 last season. And, well, I guess it did matter because Miami's going to need this pick. So we're going to go ahead and send this back to Miami because they're about to draft. So that's why they need it. So Miami, you can have it. You just have to give me your pick next year because that's what the trade was. Those were the trade details. All right, so it was declined, but we fixed that. And now we can go straight into free agency and see if there's anybody we need to re-sign. I'm pretty sure there's going to be probably a couple people. We get to accept all those qualifying offers. Brandon Miller. Definitely got to re-sign him, obviously. So let's just take care of that right out of the gate. So Brandon Miller, going to extend him. We're about to get very expensive very fast. That is why it is time to win a championship right away. So that is the goal. I'm going to go ahead, get into next season, and we're going to run it back for one final season. So this year we actually do get LaMelo winning MVP, which is awesome. Do we get Coach of the Year again? We do. 68 and 14. Really solid season once again. We do get Cooper Flag making All-NBA third team. He's up to an 88 overall. No surprise there. First in the Eastern Conference. Obviously, we're hoping that this is our year. 23 or 24 from Cooper Flag, 23 from LaMelo, and 18 from Brandon Miller. Honestly, Brandon Miller, LaMelo, and Cooper Flag on one team sounds kind of scary. I'm not going to lie. Edwards, Buzelis as well. Mark Williams. Like, this was a really fun team we threw together. Atlanta round one, the team that actually beat us last year. They got Trae Young back now? What on earth is happening? Okay. That's so bizarre. But all right, they have Brunson off the bench now. Hopefully we don't lose them. And we are going to beat them in 5 this time. Of course we do. Now we go to Detroit. They have Fox, who beat us last year. They have Claxton, Ron Holland, Jalen Duren, Garuba, Oshai Abaji. Do we lose to Detroit in round 2? We are going to beat them in 5. All right. One series away from the Eastern Conference Finals. The Orlando Magic get Evan Mobley. Evan Mobley is not re-signed with Cleveland anymore. He never does. Interesting. And then John Collins actually re-signed with the Magic. Okay. Here goes nothing. Someone come around, and we are going to beat them in 5. We're in the finals. And we don't have to deal with the Thunder. That's the best part. So we do have to deal with the Grizzlies. We have Turner and Jaren Jackson. Scottie Milton, Desmond Bay, and John Morant. No rebounds are being made between Turner and Jackson, more than likely. So we should win this series, and we are going to beat them in 6 to end off with a championship. LaMelo Ball is your finals MVP. The team we threw together was just so nasty. Absolutely love how this team came together. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure to drop a like if you did. I will see y'all in the next one. This is Crushables. Don't forget to sign up for Dabble. I'm saying peace. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you click here to watch another video that I know you'll love.